Oh, turn your phone off again, Jesse, for the second time.
He set me up.
I did.
Bro.
I did.
That was a setup.
That was a setup.
You set me up, bro. You son of a bitch.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Biblical Hitman Live. Bohemian Grove, day 1 in the books. Boys, how'd it go? How was it? How was it? How was it?
It was wonderful, man. It was everything and more, everything you expected. It was a lot of people up there that just like absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, it was fun, man. It was fun. But we'll go with introductions here. I'm Steven, one of the Biblical Hitmen. And to my right, Doc Brown.
Yes, Doc Brown, Prometheus Lens Podcast. What's up? What's happening? What's up?
Oh, yeah.
Hold out your glass.
Yeah. We're going to pour it up, which may have happened last night.
Oh.
A little bit.
Let's go ahead and talk about that.
Let's address the elephant in the room.
The lady at the bar, the older lady, wonderful woman. Everybody that was at the bar that was serving people last night was great. Very nice ladies. But this one lady that was serving me and Doc's like, hey, get me a Jack and Coke. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go get a shot of whiskey with a seltzer back. and I told her the order, and the old lady like just zones out and stares at the ceiling and just pours the whole cup all the way up. And she goes, oh, what am I doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I asked you for a shot in a Jack and Coke.
Oh my gosh!
And then
I'm watching the whole thing.
She just hands me the whole glass of whiskey.
Dude, her partner was like, "Hey, whoa, what are you doing?"
And I'm over here like, she gave it to me already.
It's already in my hands. My germs.
No takes backs.
Oh, dude, it was a trip.
Funny.
It was a trip. Pretty cool setup though, man. It was cool.
It was great.
Yeah, you were gonna crack a joke. You're like, you told me on the side. You're like, what are we at the VFW or something?
But the problem with that joke is that when you drink an entire 8 ounces of whiskey before you go on stage, you just throw it all.
Oh my gosh!
Throw it all out the wind now.
Yeah.
Now we're free balling.
Yeah, Jesse's a snowball kind of guy. Just starts getting bigger, faster.
I'm running downhill,
stronger.
baby. Let's go.
Oh man, but so it was Shane Cashman opened up, right? He opened up, and then it was Sam Tripoli. I bumped into Sam. He said, "What's up?" to me.
Very cool.
My life flashed before my eyes.
Forever changed.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I grabbed Sam. And I'm like, dude, you're way bigger than you were. Like, he's a big guy, but he's a solid. He's a big guy.
Yeah,
Like he's been working out or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He surely is not taking Ozempic.
Yeah. I think he made some. Did he make any jokes of that in
I
his
don't
stand-up?
know. I just said
I
it.
can't
I
remember.
don't. No, he didn't make any Ozempic jokes.
No. We won't talk about his jokes because it hasn't been released out. I don't think like into more of a public domain. But
I recorded all of them.
yeah.
Didn't he yell at somebody in the crowd for recording him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, because they told us
He
you
did.
can record whatever, just don't record the comedian sets.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
And
ethics.
then so he was on with Top and Raven, and they did it was like an hour show. I'd say maybe an hour and a half or something like that. It was a pretty cool podcast.
Yeah, they were good.
It was the first time Sam's been on NDS.
Is that so? Is
I
that?
want
real
to.
for real?
That's what I think they said, right?
I think so.
That is what they said, but okay, so it's just NDS been going on
Yeah.
tinfoil forever.
Right.
Well, I think they've been once.
Yeah.
Because they're only like a year old. They're a new show.
I think they've been on like 3 or 4 times, haven't they? On tinfoil.
A couple, maybe a couple of times. I can't
Regardless.
remember exactly, but you're getting ready to go on there, right?
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah.
That's gonna be kind of cool,
Second
man.
trip.
Second trip, man. Make
You
sure
going
to
in
tune
live?
into that one.
You going to LA?
No.
Oh, okay.
Zoom.
The what is it?
The
The
wonderful
Wise
power of
Wolf,
Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah.
sponsored by Wise Wolf Studio. You going to the Wise Wolf Studios? I need to get a count to there. The gold and silver trade. The Wise Wolf.
Hey,
Listening
or you
to-
can just talk to me because I've teamed with Cornerstone Asset and Metals for all your tangible needs.
Oh, there we go.
Wow,
There
what a
we go.
bargain.
Let's go.
Tell them Doc Brown sent you.
Oh man.
He's trying to Doc over here trying to swindle me to change my mind.
Oh jeez. Dude, there was a bunch of cool stuff there too, like things you could buy, people's merch.
Oh,
dude.
let me go get mine. real
So
quick.
yeah, Jesse got what are they? Baseball cards?
Well, let's just yeah, they're baseball cards,
yeah.
but it's so funny to me because I just recently went down the rabbit hole. Like, I've always heard about Alex Jones is actually Bill Hicks, right? Bill Hicks died in like 94 or something, and then Alex Jones takes over and starts becoming popular in like 96. And they both look alike, and they're both kind of from the South-ish, right? And I went down that rabbit hole. I'm like, I always thought it was BS, but there's a lot of weird stuff with that whole story. And then I go up to Paranoid American, and he's selling like AI. I don't know how he does it, but they're like baseball cards, Alex Jones and Bill Hicks right next to each other, 2 baseball cards. And I'm like, oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's meant to be.
That's
Let me
a
grab
steal.
them real quick.
Yeah, and he had a Bill Cooper too.
Yes.
Oh, the
I
Bill
told all the
Cooper.
guys, I said, I have to pick up that Bill Cooper if he's still got one available.
Apparently, he's got holographic versions too. So
We're gonna see those today.
it's like a rare Pokemon card over here.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Alex Jones and Bill Hicks.
Yeah, that's pretty
Dude,
cool.
that is
Oh my gosh.
that is comedy.
It's hilarious.
That's
That is
comedy
hilarious.
gold.
Wait, so please read
Yeah,
the
read the backstory
bios
to
on
it.
the back.
Read the back.
Yes.
You gotta do it. Bro.
That's Alex Jones.
I
Alex
flunked
Jones
his first
baseball
grade,
card.
as Sam
Paranoid
says.
American, folks.
Standing at the forefront of the modern conspiracy movement, Alex Jones is a larger-than-life figure known for his fiery rhetoric and controversial views. With a career spanning over 2 decades, Jones has captivated and polarized audiences with his unrelenting pursuit of what he sees as the hidden truths behind major world events. From questioning government narratives to promoting alternative explanations for global crises, Jones has become a household name through his media platform, InfoWars. A relentless advocate for free speech and individual liberties, he amassed a dedicated following while sparking widespread debate and legal battles. And then
Sounds like a Wikipedia of Alex Jones.
And then the quote here, an Alex Jones quote, "I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay." Yeah, this is
That's
I
classic.
have some legit sports memorabilia. Like, I got Derek Jeter signed autographed ball from the World Series. Like, I got some, I got a Michael Vick signed autographed jersey card, which is like awesome because that was before he started fighting dogs in Virginia.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes.
But this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is
Is
up
he a
there.
Hall of Famer, or did he get that?
Who,
taken
Alex
away?
Jones? Alex Jones is definitely a Hall of
No, Vic. What were you talking about?
I
dog
don't think
racing?
I don't think they're ever going to allow Michael Vick to be a Hall of
Oh
Famer.
my gosh, I know.
What a shame. He was a good ball player, man.
He was
Dude,
great.
really
man.
good.
The spiral that he threw, that guy had the best spiral in the game.
Dude, he had the best left-handed throw, I think, out of
Oh, yeah, he
any
was a
quarterback.
lefty,
He had a
too.
He was a
gun.
runner, too, son.
Oh,
He was.
Dude.
In
could
college, he
run and
murked.
throw.
He played for
Yes.
Virginia Tech, right?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so. He was a Heisman.
Yeah,
Wasn't
he was legit.
Yes.
And then guess what? He got to the NFL and he didn't run all that much.
Well,
Like, he did.
Look
run.
at football now, dude. Look at all the quarterbacks now. They're all trying to
and
remodel that image.
Yeah,
of-
Cam Newton
of-
tried.
Right,
Failed.
right, fail. The sit back in the pocket quarterbacks are kind of starting to go away. I'm not even a football guy, but I can see it just from seeing. Quarterbacks are trying to adapt to running and beating the defense in a running style or something.
Josh Allen, he's a killer, bro.
Yeah,
Buffalo Bills, baby. Josh, he'll run the ball, throw the ball, do both at the same time.
mm-hmm.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
NFL talk. Back to you, Dick.
I was about to say, welcome to Fringy Sports.
Yeah.
101. I am your host.
Oh man. Well, we got called up on stage. Doc got called up on stage. Doc got called up first. How was that experience?
Yeah, that was pretty wild. I went for like the pregame. I showed up an hour before the doors showed up to set up some stuff and help them and stuff and rub elbows. And I was just hanging out, man, maybe like 30 minutes before the show starts. And Raven comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, Doc, we've had some cancellations. And I got a hole to fill. You want to tell some cool stories?" I said, "Sure, man." And then he walks up with Shane Cashby. He's like, "This is your dance partner." I was like, "All right, man, let's do it."
Yeah. No, Shane was good, man. I liked his interview style. He gave his little personal testimony story, which was cool. He was living in New York during the 2019, 2020 times and stuff, which is difficult, or which was difficult, and even now today it's kind of getting, harder to, or just more government establishment enforcing more laws and powers over New York, California.
You think that story he told about the guy breaking into his house is legit? Like that was.
I think
That
it is.
No,
insane.
he hired a Hispanic worker to help him remodel,
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
I think it's
and
legit
turned out to
'cause
be a
he seemed
pedo.
legit mad.
That's a crazy story.
Bro, I can't believe he didn't shoot the guy.
I know, dude.
Spared his life.
If that was me, I would have done it. I would have been on the news. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he didn't.
So context to the story, he was telling about the authoritarian regime in New York and all that, and then he got to talking about immigrants and immigration, and he said, and I tried to take the cheap route. He said, so I found me a non-registered guy to help me with some remodeling, and he said, and he worked with me for a couple days. He said, I had my kids and stuff around. He said, he said, no. He said, I just felt something. How did he word it? He just felt something was off.
You know something was off.
He said it got really quiet. You couldn't hear the nail guns anymore. He said my kid's kind of standing in this hallway looking. He said I could see his face just kind of like shock. He said, I'm like, what the hell is he looking at?
Homie's got his zipper down and everything. Just looks suspect. It's just
Oh,
a bad
man.
news bears all the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Golly.
So he was met with a shotgun and asked to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before he pulls that trigger.
Yeah. Wasn't he saying the guy's face was changing or something?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
apparently the guy's face was just totally like demonic and like shape shifting or something,
Mm-hmm.
and he knew he was caught, so he just ran. And yeah, that couldn't have been me, man.
Yeah.
I just painted the room red that day, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's
Ask
crazy.
questions later.
That's crazy. These
I think in that situation, I don't think I would have pulled my shotgun out. Did he see him and then go get it? His shotgun?
Yeah, he seen him standing there. He said he was zipping his fly up in front of his child. He said, so he said, of course, my first instinct was he just flashed my child and shook his thing at my child.
I would have grabbed that guy and by his chest,
Throwing hands.
Oh,
and
dude.
I would have put him to the wall or to the ground, and I was to get the fuck out of him.
Right. Golly.
Yep.
But the shotgun, you kill that guy, you're going to jail.
Yeah. Well, you got to
Prison.
clean up. Everything's
Oh.
everywhere.
Speaking
sucks.
about dramatic stories, this guy over here telling us stories of all his on scene. He's a paramedic firefighter, and he's just traumatizing us right now with all his stories.
Trying to do some
Before
sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
I'm driving a motorcycle all the way, and he just told me the most traumatic motorcycle like accident ever. Like I'm just like, thanks for that.
Well, this
Yeah,
guy's
thank
got
you.
a
Bicycle,
bald. It's worse than a
I
bald,
have a bald
rear
tire,
tire.
people, and I have to drive 4 hours.
No. You have to drive like 400 miles.
Yeah, something.
He's like, screw the hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're talking miles here, baby.
Yeah, it might be longer of a
Yeah.
drive, buddy.
I'm gonna go like 2 miles an hour the way now. He's traumatizing
man.
me now. I blame him.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, dude.
I just
That's
want to say
crazy.
though, Sam Tripoli did roast me 3 times. 3 times
He
last
roasted
night.
you
He
3
roasted me
times,
3
dude.
times last night.
And we
Taylor, I
actually,
love you, dude, but
I know. He's like, I fuck that dude.
you're low hanging fruit in the crowd because you
He's
stood
like,
out.
I know. I'm gonna pick on this dude with the big cross on his forehead.
no, it was great. It was great.
Either you're a tattoo artist,
Yeah.
or what'd he say?
Either you're a tattoo artist, or you
Porn star?
yeah, a porn star, or something else. And I'm like,
That's the only 3 jobs you can get with that
Yeah.
kind of look. He's like, no, I'm security.
security. He's like, I feel safer already with this guy in the room as security.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Oh man.
It was great, dude.
Yeah.
He spotted you out from
Oh,
a
I
mile
know.
away.
I
dude.
knew.
Just
instantly
sitting there
I
all
was gonna get
perked up,
roasted.
just
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Mormon.
Mohawk.
That guy
And
right
the poor
there.
Mormon.
oh my
Oh, the Mormon
gosh.
guy.
Was
You
that
and
guy
the-
really
you and the
a
Mormon.
Yeah, me and the Mormon were getting roasted all night.
Got the
man,
blunt
by
of
Sam
it.
Tripoli.
Hey, is the Mormon guy, like, I thought he was going to be a speaker or something. Like, who is that guy?
He is a content creator. Yes, he is a content creator.
But they just won't let him go up.
No,
They let me go up. Big mistake.
I'm not sure if he has his own show, but I know he goes on a lot of other shows. And he went on Nephilim Death Squad and did the rebuttal to Heidi Love's.
Oh,
It's
you know,
hilarious how
I was
we-
wondering if that.
It's
was the
hilarious
guy.
how we dropped our Heidi Love episode,
I know that right
same
during
day.
the same time.
and then we see this guy. He's he's in it though. Like he
He's
wants
in
to
it.
be.
I think he had the earpiece and everything, dude. I don't know what's coming
He's
through
telling
that
the
thing.
fans right now, bro.
I don't know what's
strike
coming
this
through
spot.
that
It's
thing.
It said 3 letters on the side. I couldn't
It said
really
CIA
make them.
on the
couldn't
side?
really make them.
CIA.
It said CIA.
Try Facebook.
That's hilarious. Yo, Evan Hall, what up, Joyful One? What's going on, everybody? What
What's
up?
happening? I can't.
He said, "Are you ready for round 2 tonight?"
Oh, I don't know.
So Owen Benjamin.
Ready or not, here it comes.
Here it comes.
Oh, phone's dead. Owen finally. Owen Benjamin's headlining tonight. So last night was Sam. And I think tonight's Owen, right?
Yes.
I'm curious about that. I've heard so much stuff about Owen, but I've never heard his stand up. But I've heard, everybody talk about it.
I've seen bits, clips.
I probably
bits,
have
shorts or something like that.
Right.
But mainly it's just him like on a webcam, just going ham on like why the plane, like how. I don't know if he's changed his mind, but he was kind of convincing me like pretty hard that the amount of fuel on airplanes does not make any sense.
Right.
To kind of
like 40,000 gallons or something like that.
It could be an illusion, but I think but it's interesting. So
it's supposed to be on the bottom, right?
And I don't know.
The bottom.
And I don't know if it has something to do with like planes and their gasoline. If a lot of it at a certain temperature like goes to a vapor, so the weight of it is kind of like less. I don't even know what I'm talking about, dude. I don't know.
Shut up.
It's wild.
I just have to put my hands over my head and try to catch all that. That's too.
Yeah. That's way.
I'm king of the trailer park, man. You
maybe
got to dumb that down a little bit, Daddy.
Yeah.
Meet me eye to eye here.
It doesn't though. Like when you look up 40,000 gallons of water, but like you said, like what it like.
Yeah. Well, let's Google real quick. How many or chat? How many
747?
gallons of fuel does an airplane hold?
In a 747, right? Or no?
Do,
a
do,
Boeing.
do, do,
Yeah,
A regular commercial Boeing.
Yeah.
I think it's like 40,000 gallons.
Yeah, I think it's a lot. But
This is our Paul Blart fun fact moment.
yes. We need one of those little stop and go.
We're taking
little
callers.
Handle. Looks like a what is that thing? Like a dolly. Those things, they look like a dolly. You're just riding a dolly electric scooter.
The Segway.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So we got called up on stage. Jesse
My grandmother's an alien.
was a fantastic act, and we had a good time. We
Could not articulate anything
we were-
I was thinking. I was like, the 2017 disclosure.
Yeah,
you're like
Full Wikipedia.
it was Fravor Greg.
Right.
I was like, it was Greg Fravor.
I love great crowd. Wonderful people.
Yeah.
Here all week.
As long as the drinks are provided.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Dude, it was.
All right,
it
we're
was fun.
moving
It was fun.
on.
Well, I tell you this though, but we were all approached with a question, and Doc was also on the panel just before us. He was approached with a similar question, so I might as well get into it while we're
did.
here. I said we might as well get into it
Yeah.
while we're here. The topic was, and everyone in the chat, let us know your thoughts on this too. Aliens, right?
Yes.
What's our take on aliens? So, respectfully, I'm not going to start with you, and I'm going to start with Doc. Okay.
Hey, my grandmother.
Ooh, oh, man.
I
He has
found
a
out
relative.
My grandmother.
He has a relative in this subject matter.
Was an
You,
alien.
you skipped the main source.
My grandma was an alien. Pause.
And he's like, no, for real. No,
I
for
don't know
real.
where I'm going with this. I thought I had it, but it got away from me.
That's great. That's great.
So, anyways, we're gonna start with Doc.
We're gonna start with Doc. Doc.
Yeah.
All right, aliens, brother.
Which, I mean, I ain't going to take up a lot of time because I'm pretty sure all of us are in the same vein. But I told them last night, Timothy Alberino said some stuff that really stuck out to me when I talked to him. And he's like, we get too hung up on verbiage. He said, if you take the textbook definition of alien, it means not of this earth. He said, so if you take these lowercase g gods, angels, these spiritual entities, all these different things, the UFOs in the sky, he said, all these things are otherworldly. They're not of this world. He said, so you could throw them in that basket and still be right. So I think they're all related. They're not from the 10th planet or Pleiades and all this other stuff. No, they're interdimensional. They're here right in front of us every day. We can't see them because of the veil. So something I think that happened when we got kicked out of the garden. I think we used to be able to see in higher and lower vibrations or frequencies and see all this stuff. And then once we got kicked out, it's like one of those wires got snipped and now you can't see. But it's still there.
Right. It's almost like the de-evolution that we kind of see from the beginning of Genesis with just the age of man, right? And then where we're at now. right? So it's like we went from something very high grade, and now we're deteriorating like over time.
Yeah, entropy.
Is over.
Right. And to piggyback with what he was saying, like, maybe that serpent seed theory, right? Or whatever took place in the garden, as far as we know that it was the context is like lineage based, right? So there's like genealogies. So it's based off of like reproduction, right? So and you pass genes off, right, to your children, vice versa. That's what happens, right? So I'm wondering what took place in the garden with the serpent and all that stuff. Boom, that was the genetic just curse that would plague humanity for the rest of time. You know what I'm saying?
Off topic, but on topic. John Adolphi, the whole from Adam to now, he's saying that. Hey, you know who John Adolphi is?
Yeah, I've had him on the show. Yeah,
you have had him on as well.
Right on.
He's from like his.
He's from New York.
Yeah, his whole museum is right down the road from where I grew up. It's crazy. But the Lost World Museum, John Adolphi, he has a crazy. I love his perspective, and he's a really smart guy too.
Right.
Aliens, apes, or Adam?
Yeah.
Right.
And he's talking about how Adam was like 15 feet tall or something.
Yeah, well,
and he's saying like these guys had like 700 IQs, like they're just like supercomputers walking around, and then they start degrading over time, and you get to Noah, and Noah was like a little bit didn't live as long, but he was also a big guy too. I think he was saying he's like 9 feet or something.
Well, Ron Wyatt, the guy that discovered Noah's Ark, the Red Sea crossing, Mount Sinai, claimed to be in presence of the Ark of the Covenant, all this stuff. I just went to his house and met with his widowed wife, Mary Nell, and in the basement she has all of his equipment, all of his archaeological finds, the huge piece of the ark's there, so I got to see this thing and hold it, but it was cool. But in the collection they have a set of giant finger bones, okay, and this is like this joint here, like from your knuckle down to this knuckle, so this section here.
Oh shoot.
And so ours is like this, and this one is like this big. I mean, it's about normal size width, but the piece you're talking about is the thumb bone of the foot, and that sucker is like that big around, and about that big.
Yeah, well, everything was bigger back then because they had more oxygen levels. Even the animals were bigger, the humans were bigger, everything, because it was more pure oxygen. But I hear now we get like almost half as much oxygen, if not less. Like, it's crazy. Everybody used to be bigger.
But those bones supposedly come out of Noah's wife's tomb. Wow. They found a marked grave, and a bunch of grave robbers dug it up and stuff, and it was like a stone sarcophagus. Yeah. And that's where they found those bones.
Gosh. Didn't we share a video of a mummy's finger or something like that?
I brought that up.
Okay, yeah. So that thing was what? I think it was 14 inches long or something like that,
yeah.
right?
Oh, the Egypt, that mummified finger?
Yes, the mummified finger that was in Egypt. And it looks like a black, like it looks like a 15-foot tall vampire's finger. Right. Like it's a big long nail.
Right.
The nail's like, it's crazy how, it's very well mummified.
It is.
It looks real.
Well, those desert climates really preserve bones and stuff. That's why you have so much good stuff in Egypt, and why you have such good stuff in Peru. The climate's perfect to preserve them.
Interesting. Yeah, that finger, though, if that's real, that is creepy as all hell.
Right. And, dude, like, in all these different cultures, right, and all these different pantheons, there's these little g gods in everywhere, right, ethnically, like, throughout the whole entire world. And what I find interesting is, like, even the ones that may have not been Nephilim, right, kings, whatever, like, we know that they're there's giant kings in the Bible and stuff. But what I'm saying is they wanted to remodel themselves or rebuild their image as, like, a Nephilim god.
Right.
Like, even
like the head binding and stuff.
Yes, the head binding, elongating their skulls and trying to. And I'm wondering how do they get? What's persuading them to do all this? And I think it's mysticism
and there's the kicker.
drugs.
And Morgan Wallen. The Morgan Wallen effect, the mullet, man.
Oh, dude.
Mullets were dead in the 80s. All of a sudden, this one guy cuts his hair like
Theo helped with that.
And everybody is doing it again.
Theo Vaughn helped with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Give him
Who had it first, though?
Uh-oh. Theo Vaughn or Morgan Wallen, folks.
Morgan.
Let us know
Man.
who had it. But the kicker to all that is, what's the point of hiding these giants? Let's say Egypt was filled with tombs and graveyards of giants, but they stole all the bones. The Smithsonian, right? The guy from the Y-Files says they're a government agency that is in charge of pretty much hiding all the archaeological evidence.
Right.
So what's the point with hiding all this stuff if it's really there? If these giants are really, they're hiding the bones, or they're. What's the point of that? What's the point of hiding all of it?
Well, the point is they don't want you to know that the Bible is in fact true, and what it says is true. So the thing is, if we knew our true history, we would start to ask more questions. Therefore, they're going to get a lot more heat, and they don't want that. They want the people to be dumbed down, ignorant to everything, and just on a level of controllable and manipulative. They want us smart enough to be working and doing what we're told, but not to ask questions, like we're doing right now.
So what would that change? How would the world change if we knew all of history, like what we're talking about is true? Like, what would change?
It'd be like the purge overnight. I'll say that much. Like the lower people, the lower class people, and the middle class would definitely go against the rich overnight, and it would just be total chaos.
Is it because the people that are in power now, that run all the corporations, that pretty much run the world, all the banks, is it because they have that knowledge and they're keeping it away from us? And is that why there would be a purge?
Yeah, I think though it's I don't think it exists for the truth to be fully what am I trying to say? Like for the truth to be fully accepted by the world, that's going to happen at a certain point. And that, like in Revelation, when it's the final judgment, this is when everyone, no matter what it is you believe in, I'm sorry, this is the gathering. This is where everyone comes to the throne of God. Everybody.
Yep.
But I think what has to happen, what can exist, and what has to exist is the cosmic chess game. And I think that's why you have the good and the bad. This is
another aspect too to add to that. I believe what you said is true, but I think there's a multifaceted thing too, because you have the whole Darwinian viewpoint, you have the whole standpoint of science, and they're the ones that don't rely on faith; they rely on knowledge. Trust the science.
Hey, well, what are the Rosicrucians? There's a Rosicrucian quote, and that Rosicrucian quote is, "We are the last of the sorcerers, but the first of the scientists," I believe. I believe that's the quote.
It's kind of like things just kind of.
It's a cult it's a cultist cult that morphed into more modern practice. But
if they believe that the giants were on the earth in those days, and they put that narrative out, then it totally disproves their scientific method, because they're all about evolution. Things get better over time, not worse. But at the same time, these are the same guys that proclaim entropy. Nothing gets better with time. Everything degrades. So it's like you were contradicting yourself, just from
all
the
the
beginning.
Giants and everybody that was like super tall back then, the Nephilim and everything, they've gotten down to human, like our human height now and everything. So
is this like Gulliver's Travels? Like, are we just going to keep getting smaller, and then Jack Black's going to show up and he's going to be gigantic? He's from a different part of the world.
Well, if you think about
from
it,
beyond the ice wall.
If you think about it, it has to happen until what? Until the harvest. Yeah. Until you have the wheat and the wheat and tares, right? You have this
seed war.
Yeah, and I don't want this to sound. I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but I see this life as like a filter, or, gosh, people could even be
matrix.
Yeah,
he's
right?
beginning to
testing ground.
Right, testing grounds. Every show has an audience, right? So like there's like. We're going through this thing,
going through the matrix, bro.
And the truth has presented itself, right? Like we know that by the story of Christ, and there's a lot of things that back that up.
Yeah.
And just getting into like the Nephilim, the fallen angel stuff, the alien stuff, it's all connected. Bigfoot, right? I mean, we get into all the paranormal stuff. There's a common ground with all these things, but Where do you guys see the alien stuff being in 5 years?
I think we're gonna see it within that time. I think it's gonna be even less than that time. I think
This guy's an alien, dude. This guy's an alien.
Oh no, they know me. No, but like I think we're gonna see it alongside of the war or during war even. I think they have to be our saviors. Remember, so they're gonna come out like when we're in turmoil, like when stuff's hitting the fan. You know, like we're like, oh my gosh, I need a savior.
I
What's
need
going on?
help.
Yeah, and they're gonna be like, oh, you know, like we're your saviors. We're here to help you. You know, we're gonna give humanity cures, your CRISPR upgrades. You could be like us, like a god.
And nothing new is under the sun.
Nothing
Solomon.
new under the sun.
It's
Right.
been done once. It's going to happen
It's
again.
going to happen again. It's just
Right.
history repeats and repeats and repeats and recycles and recycles every single time. I think what reset are we on? Like the 7th reset or something?
According to
crazy?
Mayan, we're in the 5th world.
We're in the 5th. Okay.
I think that we're in the 10th Kali Yuga cycle, I think, or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. The age of Aquarius.
And ain't that crazy how that rhymes with Revelation, though?
Yeah.
You know, you have this water bearer, right? And it says, in the end of days, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and knowledge will increase. The young men will have dreams, and the old men will have visions. And I think you even have some allegorical stuff with that, with the Last Supper, when he tells the disciples, you know, to go out and find some place that we will sup. He's like, well, how do we know the place? What does he say? He says, you'll see a man carrying water. Go inside.
Oh wow.
It was despicable for men to carry water back in those days.
Interesting.
You know, I mean, you'd have been shunned. You'd have been made fun of because that was a woman's job.
It's not the man.
So I was like, you know, could that be that like an allegorical type thing? It's like, hey, the Last Supper, you know, prepare, look for the man pouring water, the Aquarius, and it rhymes with Revelation, end of days.
Ah,
Dang, you're
Marriage
making my
supper.
head explode right now.
Right?
nice, dude. That's nuts.
Diverting off of that. that just made
Golden
my head explode.
nuggets, people.
You know, going
Write
back to
that down.
the alien deal. Yeah, it's serious little golden nuggets.
Your grandma.
My grandma is an alien. Hey, your grandma.
We're going to make new merch.
Yes. My grandma looks like an alien. Yes. 100. 100.
Gosh, I love it. I
Do it.
love it.
Yes.
What can I say? I'm a genius. No, but diverting from that, going back to the alien talk, talking about seeing, you were talking about you're going to start seeing it during the war.
Yeah.
You're like World War III is going to pop off and we're going to start seeing it. Well, that actually happened in World War II. There was signs and sights
Fatima.
of saucers during the war.
And well, even, you know, Fatima. What was that?
So break
Alien
that.
showed
break
up
that down
looking
real
like
quick.
the Virgin Mary. To some kids and told them, you know, you need to stop the war and destroy the nukes and, you know, and all this stuff and tell all the people to gather at this site, you know, at this
Where
such
was
and
this?
such date. I think it was France or something like that. But
It used
then,
to be a wives' tale for a while, too. Like, they kept
but then,
it going.
but they said like a whole group of people and news outlets and everything showed like there was hundreds of people at this
people were
field
getting
and
scared.
everyone seen this thing.
Yeah.
This Virgin Mary.
And supposedly, like, with all these bombs and stuff that went off, too, supposedly, you know, I've heard that they were portals for aliens to come through and
Oh
stuff like that.
gosh.
You know, I know.
You're
It
like,
sounds crazy.
Like
but,
Juan.
yeah,
Juan talks
like
about
Juan, yeah.
dropping a
Do you believe in
Hiroshima
Jesus,
bomb,
though,
opened up
is
a
the real
portal.
question.
We-
Was I grilling Seven Seas last night for his belief in Jesus?
No.
I did ask him though. If you
No,
believe.
he's gonna come on the show. Then you can, you know.
Yeah,
Just calm it down.
Can of worms, bro.
I just remember asking him.
I'm just gonna cancel.
Christ is Lord.
Yeah. Just say Christ
What-
is Lord.
What movie was that? What movie was that?
I don't know. I gotta watch it. That's Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
It's a messed up movie, though. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
You watched it?
Was it?
I watched half of it and I stopped watching because my spirit didn't set right with it, bro. The Holy Spirit told me to turn that the heck off. So I was like, yeah, there's just too much crap in there.
Yeah.
Jason is in the chat.
I know, dude. He was going off.
I love it.
Bro.
The memes off those are amazing. By the
amazing.
way, yeah,
They're
awesome.
saying the Foo
They're
Fighters
awesome.
in World War II. Exactly.
Foo Fighters, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Jason, what up? What up?
We used your music for the intro, bro. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bro, I was headbanging the whole
Yes.
time.
Yes,
Killer,
killer.
Yeah.
bro.
Rocking it, bro.
Yeah, we were head bobbing, dude.
Bro, we actually delayed the live because we were just.
We wanted a few more loops.
pumped up.
We wanted a few more loops, man.
Right.
Nah,
That's
if you-
my dog.
all your
over there.
editing needs, all your music needs, holler at your boy, Jason Tomeo. All my shows, down in the link description. You got his email and contact. Give him a shout. He will hook you up.
Let's
Oh yeah.
And see, Addie says I got more. There's more where that comes
Oh,
from.
dude.
There's
We
more where
gotta
that
link
came
up.
from.
We gotta link up. We
Yeah.
gotta talk. We gotta
We
talk.
need you, brother. We
Dude.
need you. Yeah.
Awesome stuff,
Tell them
brother.
why we need to link up.
Yeah, I want you to make some
Intro music.
intro music,
We
baby.
need some headbanger music.
I want
Because
more
we
than
keep
just
getting
one song.
copyrighted.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know.
we get copyrighted, all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But as of recently, I think we cleared the air with all that.
Yeah.
Oh, we did.
Yeah,
You know
yes.
what? He
Finally.
fixed that.
YouTube
Our
doesn't like us.
my bad.
Apparently.
our editor, who's in an undisclosed location deep in
Somewhere.
the Las
Area
Vegas
51.
mountains.
You just said Las Vegas.
He's an alien. He's an alien.
Yeah, right. He's definitely an
Somewhere in the
alien.
Nevada mountains.
Yeah, in the Nevada mountains.
He's
right.
an Area
Screw that one.
51 breakout.
Yeah. Oh man, but okay. So back to the war thing with aliens. Well, what do we see? A lot of UFO activity around, right? We see it a lot around missile bases, nuclear areas, whatever. A lot of, Navy, right? In particular,
Right, Greg
and seeing all this
Fravor.
kind of stuff. Even things that are under. No, it's not Greg.
It's
I don't
David.
think-
It's
David
David.
Gregg. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
David Fravor.
David Gregg.
David Gregg, yeah.
It's David Gregg.
That guy knows his
Tac-tac.
stuff.
It's the Tac Tac with Greg Fravor.
Yeah, but how about this? Instead of like a UFO or a spaceship coming down in the middle of a Super Bowl halftime show and presenting itself to the world
Yeah.
and going, "Hey, what up, mother effers? We here."
L.A. Marzulli.
I think it'll be something where what if something that we have they may present to be as a nuclear bomb, may not be.
Right.
But the blast could be big enough to go, holy crap, this was a nuke, right? And plus radiation that's laying around from whatever. But anyways, then we have disclosure. Or we have contact. Where they come down and they're like, this needs to stop.
Before you set it off, we're gonna come down here and be like, guys, just chill. We
Right,
need you
right.
guys to chill.
Well, it leaves room for a perfect opportunity to totally reconstruct civilization.
yeah. New World Order comes in and be
New
like,
religion.
all right. Yeah. New
New
religion.
language.
Yeah.
New
It's gonna be the alien
you heard-
AI religion.
Have you heard L.A. Marzulli's Rapture alien hypothesis? It makes a lot of sense.
When they come
No,
down,
yes.
we go up type thing. I've heard that too.
Well, so those that believe in the rapture, and the more I was raised to believe in one, like a pre-trib guy.
Yeah, there's no pre-trib.
But the more I read into it, I was like, it's not there.
Nah.
And it says, you will suffer.
Yeah.
You will go through trial and
Trials and
tribulation.
tribulations.
Those who endure to the what?
End.
The end
Come on.
will find a crown of life.
Right.
So it's like we're going to be here for that, man.
Yeah.
I trust
Gotta
me, guys.
thug it out, ladies and
For
gentlemen.
my people that are pre-trib, hey, I pray that you are right because I don't want to be here if I don't have to be. You know what I mean for this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But look at God's judgment in the past. If He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore, He does things in patterns. So He didn't remove Moses; He just sustained him through the flood.
Yeah.
He didn't. He removed Lot. He was still there. He just kind of preserved him, and then.
Now,
the plagues,
all
it's
the
just
disciples
over and
went through
over.
horrible deaths and horrible stuff. Do you think we can get out scot-free being untouched? Like, I just find it, like, we have to go through
Pretty
trials
pompous.
and tribulations, man. Yeah, like, you will be hated for my name's sake, so I don't think we're just going to get whisked away, Like, it just doesn't add up to
But
me.
when it talks about, you'll be changed in the blink of an eye, and they'll say, that's the rapture.
Yeah.
Well, if that's what you call the rapture, I think that happens right at the end.
Yeah.
Because it says, those who endure to the end.
And that's
Right,
right
right,
before
right,
God's
right.
full wrath is poured out, I believe, because God's full wrath is appointed unto the wicked. I mean, if we're being honest here.
But he says that he thinks they come down and basically, hey, we're your seeders. We're the ones that gave you your knowledge and give you the seed to take you from Neanderthal, this ape thing, to what you are now. You guys are now ready for the next upgrade of enlightenment. And those guys that were here and had everybody just disappeared, they're fine. We took them. They're getting their upgrade now. You guys are next.
So while they're getting their upgrade, we're going to just, put the chip in your head and you'll be okay.
What's interesting too? A part of satanic religion is where they believe that when the Antichrist, they believe that the Antichrist will be the devil, and this is who this person is.
Right.
But they believe that when the rapture does happen, God is taking and removing His people from this earth and this domain and bringing these people into His kingdom and parting ways with the devil. But this is a lie, right? Obviously, right? Because his destination is the lake of fire and all this.
Yeah.
But the people on earth are promised to have kingdoms and power over others like another government hierarchy system,
Right.
Similar to like Atlantis, similar to, honestly, what it sounds to be.
We're sons of the king. We inherit the kingdom and the roles.
Right.
Well, that'll be interesting, right?
It will be.
Yeah.
And I think when judgment starts pouring out, I think that's why they run for the mountains.
Yeah,
For
and
the mountains
under,
to hide
underneath the
themselves.
mountains.
The
too.
domes.
Yeah, the domes.
The domes, dude.
Domes
Yeah, think about
underground
it. All
bunkers.
the domes they're building now, right? And it says in Revelation that the leaders and the powerful of the world will try to hide in the mountains
The rocks
to
will fall
escape
on
judgment. Yeah, and it says that the people will seek death, and death
Will
will
not
pass
find it.
them by. Yes,
And
will
I-
not find them.
I think partly too is a lot of these people are going to try to escape these deaths by, hear me out, uploading their consciousness and
Yes.
soul and spirit into the machine.
They're locked in.
Yes, and they have this technology. I swear.
I tell you what what makes me think too with the Mark of the Beast integration and stuff like this. Well,
Yeah.
let's look at the
Hive mind.
Let's look at the conditioning we're getting now. It's zombies. It's some sort of like, not a kill switch, but it's something to where, if it wants to take control of your consciousness, it can.
Like
right?
a mild lobotomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like this, like the whole meta narrative right around like zombies and stuff. Well, what happens with a zombie? It's bit, and has a mark, and then boom, it's no longer its human self. It has no control. So we watched a cartoon, dude, like a couple years ago, and this cartoon is on Netflix and all this kind of stuff. Check out this clip on YouTube that I'm going to talk about. Well, it's this cartoon, and it's about society is really happy about such a great accomplishment. And this accomplishment was called the Smart Mark. And everyone was going in and out, like kind of like what we saw at like in 2019 and 2020. Everyone was kind of going and jumping in line. Well, this was exactly going on in the cartoon. People were receiving their Smart Marks, specifically in the right hand. And
They kept it off the left, huh?
yeah, they kept it off the left, dude. Even when you go and you scan your credit card today, look at the hand symbol on the credit card thing. It's a right hand with a right thumb holding a credit card.
Yeah.
It's very
wow.
interesting. But anyways,
Interesting.
in this cartoon, people are receiving a Smart Mark. Now, it flashes to another area of the world, and it's where it shows the government cabinet, right? But they're all cyborgs.
Yeah.
Right.
They're all cyborgs, and and everyone has two red eyes,
Yeah.
right? But there's one guy that has one big round red eye,
Right.
And he's referred to as number one, right? Or the one, right? Or
The one to come.
right, but he's called number one,
Highlander.
right? And so there's a resistance that's in the cartoon that is against what's going on in the world. Well, another thing too is
Cog in the wheel.
yeah.
Bastards.
Yeah.
This is the
Christians.
This is the zombie connection I'm making, is where these people that had the Smart Mark, the number one guy, he would go initiate protocol, whatever, blah blah blah. And these people that had the Smart Mark, if they were driving, if they were fishing, if they were changing a baby's diaper, dude, it didn't matter where you were. It initiated the Smart Mark, and they all literally repeated the same thing, and they said, I must find the freedom fighters. I must find the freedom fighters.
And they activated it through those 5G towers, or like the supposed people who had that nanotech or whatever.
Graphene. This is where I wanted to go with that. Graphene, the study that Alex Jones disclosed during 2019, 2020, there's a rat study that was done with graphene, and they were able to control the rat's appetite and certain emotions. They were able to like change their emotion,
They were able to influence their behavior.
They were able to influence their behavior
right.
and initially, like, what's the point of that? To cause chaos. Really,
What was that? I think,
create
what was it
zombies.
called? Universe 25. Are you familiar with
Oh,
Universe
yeah.
25? It was like a rat study done, I think, in the late 1800s or early 1900s, and it was where they just created, so they had all these rats.
Oh, the rat cities.
The rat
Yes,
cities.
yeah.
Yes.
And they give opioids and stuff to some of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they made they made groups. And
Control
they,
groups.
Right.
And they treated each group a little differently, and then they
Well, they
saw
didn't
how
make groups. They grouped themselves.
formed it,
The rats
Yeah.
They
made
packed
their own
up
groups,
rat packs.
and then the guys, the rats that stayed up on top, and they were introverts. These rats would push themselves away from every other rat, and they would be very clean, and they wouldn't have. They were incels. They wouldn't fornicate. But they would just make sure they were really clean. They'd stay away from everybody. It was kind of like a Howie Mandel of a rat,
wild.
like that just stays.
Germaphobes.
Howie Mandel rats.
Wear your mask type rats.
But yeah, they would stay up at like the top of. So they would put these rats in like this big, like it's the size of like this room, right? And they kept making it smaller and smaller.
Pushing them closer to closer.
Smaller. And then they ended up. It's just a weird thing that happened. It was a very.
Here, come.
Yeah.
Scoot
each
over.
other off.
Anarchy.
And became
over
very violent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like they want us to do. It's like
Sounds
purge.
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and what happened too? Yeah, they couldn't get along with each other over time.
Right.
It's like breakdown of society.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
Which,
Causing chaos.
which I don't hate, but I'll say it 'cause it sounds nice. I hate to pull back on the conspiracy cord, but if we go back to Bohemian Grove,
Yes.
what was y'all's experience, getting to meet these content creators that you've, watched for a while, or maybe went on their show, or you had them on your show? How was it to get the face-to-face?
It's weird being here with you. Like
Yeah, I know.
Doc got in town. We got there Airbnb within the first 10 minutes of being in this house. We were already outside going down the rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there telling Doc, and Stevie brought it up. He's like, dude, Jesse sent me a video of you on Tinfoil Hat breaking down the whole Jacob and Esau story and how the epic of Esau, right? The whole story behind it. And it's just like, dude, I never heard anything like it. And I was like, Stevie, you gotta listen to this. This is unique. Like this is a different perspective here, and it makes so much sense. The hairy garment. Jacob wraps himself in goat fur, puts it on his hand, so when his blind dad touches his hand, he's tricking his father to steal the lineage, the right of Esau. Incredible.
Yeah.
But
Small world.
going back to what you said, surreal. Meeting Sam. Sam was just making his rounds. Just like boom, 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 hopping around.
Oh, dude, it was awesome. I bumped into him, and it was like, man, dude, almost had a stroke.
Surreal.
Relax.
Now, do you talk to him in the parking lot when he was coming in or something? Was
No,
that right?
who was
Somebody
that?
told me that. They was like, "Hey, I seen Sam in the parking lot."
Oh, nice.
No, but he like right when he first walked in, I was standing in the middle. He was like, "Hey, buddy, excuse me," and I'm like, "Oh, that's Sam."
Yeah.
Like, damn, he's bigger and taller than I thought. Shit.
But he surprised me. I mean, because I went on a show one time. It was about a year ago, and of course, this guy talks to thousands of people a year probably
man.
for all his different shows and stuff. So
yeah.
I was fully expecting him not to even know who the hell I was.
Right.
But I seen him, and so I went and grabbed my book, and I walked up to him, and I said, "Say, Sam, it's nice to finally meet you." And he's like, "Hey, Doc," and he hugged my neck, And I brought you a book, bro. And he's like, "We gotta get you back on the show, man." And I was like, "I'm already booked in August." He's like, "Nice."
Nice.
The hardest working podcaster there is, Sam Tripoli. He's fathering all of us. He's we are
He's
his
got like
kids.
4 episodes.
Yeah.
Or no, 4 different channels he runs simultaneously.
Oh, yeah, dude, yeah.
He's a workhorse, bro.
It's funny because I'm like I generally just watch Tinfoil Hat, but when they do the breakdowns, they show you clips of like Broken Sim, and I love it. Like they get into all the nitty gritty of like what's going on in their lives and like his comedy scene, everything. They get into everything.
Yeah.
The current events of some of these famous people. It's hilarious.
Right.
He's so hilarious,
Right.
bro. Breaking down freaking everything. Tom Brady, Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yep.
So who was everybody's favorite that they met? And I know we can't play favorites,
I
but
like
I guess
Seven Seas a lot.
Seven. Yeah. No, Seven Seas is
kidding.
cool, man,
I'm just
dude.
joking.
It was really cool to meet everyone in general. Obviously, yeah, there's some big players there, and those guys are. It's awesome just to be in the same room, and this is our first time meeting each other in person.
Right.
This
Yeah.
has been a blessing.
Same.
This is cool.
You can tell
I know, it's the first time.
And that's what it's about. It's about building friendships, building networks with people,
and making memories like these.
Yeah,
this
dude.
weekend's
Memories
awesome,
together,
dude.
right?
Yeah,
Dude,
man.
I know.
Who's the one tall guy that you were talking to? He's chill, super tall guy, super chill. You interviewed. You put him on your Instagram. It was like but right before the show.
Talking about Thomas from Paranoid American, real big guy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And then his buddy that's selling the cards.
Yeah, him and Donut shared that
Donut,
table.
yeah.
Donut, shout out.
Shout out to Donut. What's up, dog? Yeah.
The guy that was selling the cards. What's his name? He's from Paranoid American.
Yeah, Thomas.
Really cool guy.
Yeah.
I got some.
I like him.
I got some stickers here. I'll shout these out. This
Yeah.
is Hot Damn Arts.
Yeah.
Dude,
really awesome.
cool
art.
artwork.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool artwork. This is. I love being white.
Hey, you're special if you got that because he pulled those out like before the doors opened,
Yeah.
and he only had like 5 or 6.
No way.
Yeah, he said,
Oh
"Here you go,
my
Doc."
goodness.
And I
That's
didn't know what it
awesome.
was. And I looked at it, I was like, "Oh my god,
That is awesome.
Of course.
But,
Definitely not taking that to Bob
It's
and Upbeat.
realrifletechnology.com.
Oh,
Check
real
it out.
Rife.
Real life.
Yeah.
Rifle?
Rifle. Yeah.
Oh yeah, real rife.
It's Rife
Jeez.
technology. Apparently that heals you. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Some next level tech right
copper
there.
coil.
Yeah. It's like
What
some-
was the guy that when I went up on the conspiracy round table, Donut was to my right,
Kinda wanna get one
but the guy that was next to Donut, who was
the
that?
underclass.
The younger class,
The
pod?
underclass.
Underclass pod.
podcast.
He was really cool. We talked a little bit afterwards and stuff. He's like, "Man, we need to do some
Cool
stuff
guy.
together." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, definitely." But my brain, I was like, I cannot remember his name. So thank
Right,
you.
it's so many people, so many people. I mean, dude, UFC fighter was there.
Oh yeah, Jake Shields.
I got a picture of that.
Jake Shields was kind enough to I FaceTime my buddy. We're both big MMA guys. Like before this stuff, I was doing MMA content, and I was like all in. I really wanted to do. I was planning on getting media passes, going to the events, and,
Right.
It's just it's such a wish wash in the MMA community. It's hard to do that and keep up with all the fights. It's like it's a never ending process. But regardless, Jake Shields. If I had Jake Shields and I was talking to him, I was like, I gotta FaceTime my buddy.
What do he look like? I'm
Jake
trying
Shields?
to figure out who he is. If I seen
he's
him.
got cauliflower here. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
But I don't know how to.
White
describe-
dude, dark skin.
Yeah, white dude.
Okay.
I don't know if he has dark skin. I think he loves being white, but
No, I'm just saying, did he got a good tan? Could he pass for a light skinned Latino brother? You
No.
know, or
no, he couldn't.
okay.
I mean, no.
He's honky white. He's dark brown white.
Trash, no.
He's dark brown white.
Let's see. Yeah, see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that guy.
Bro, he's a
He was wearing a
legend.
hat and stuff. There's actually a younger picture of him.
Like he fought everybody. I think he fought. I think he may even beat GSP. He fought everybody, bro. He fought everyone back in his day, bro. If you took him in his prime, and I had to tell him this, I'm like, you take you in your prime, because he fought. You know, he was like the beginning, like right when MMA and UFC started getting popular. He was on Strikeforce,
So they did a show together, the Underclass
right?
podcast,
With
Okay.
Jake Shields.
and Jake Shields.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jake Shields' show is what's the name of his show?
No disrespect, Jake. Don't knock me
yeah,
out if you
yeah.
see me
Don't
tonight.
knock us out, yeah.
There was no
I think it's
disrespect
some- it's something
intended
with Jake
whatsoever.
Retarded, dude. I'm retarded. I'm
Something with
slightly
Jake
retarded.
Shields. What I was saying, I'm going to finish this. What I was saying was if you took him, because he fought long ago in Strikeforce, if you took him and you put him into the UFC, like his weight class, top 10 in his prime, he would be right up there exactly where he was in Strikeforce all those years ago. He would compete with all these guys now.
He was
a
in his
special guy.
prime before UFC.
All around. Like he was just, the thing about him is he's just all around a good fighter. Every aspect of it.
That's like I used to
Legend.
love to watch Connor.
Yes.
But Connor had a great strike game.
Dude.
But you got him on the ground, he sucked, bro.
Yeah,
He got
not
better
that he
toward
sucks.
the end.
Bro, it's not that he sucked. It's that these
He just
wrestlers,
wasn't,
these Dagestani
but
guys
he just
compete.
wasn't well balanced. He just focused really hard in on the striking because that was, I think, his power move. So he's like, I'm just
Right.
going to be the best damn striker ever.
He has,
Right.
you have to be. Jake Shields will tell you the same thing. If you don't start wrestling when you're freaking 4 years old, like these guys, like you, there's no catching up. It's not happening. We're seeing it with Shemaev right now. Hazmat Shemaev is coming in here and he's just wrecking shop. He just broke. You know who Robert Whitaker is?
no.
He was a champion in the middleweight forever. He fought Adesanya a couple times, did pretty well, did decent. I think he got knocked out one of the times, but it's Adesanya. He went in there to fight Shemaev. I think this was his last fight, maybe the fight before last. Hazmat Shemaev came in there, and he's like this Dagestani wrestler. And he's like, just an animal. He takes Robert Whitaker down. I think it's the first round. He puts him in like a neck crank. He doesn't quite get the rear naked choke, but he's got his jaw, right? And he just squeezed and broke all his teeth into his mouth.
Oh my goodness.
Good Lord.
And I saw him tap right away, and he's like, dude, that is different, bro. It's not the
Yeah.
same. Conor McGregor, there's no catching.
Jeez, that's crazy,
These guys are
man.
different.
That's crazy.
Jake Shields, that wouldn't happen. I bet you put Jake Shields in the ring right now with Hausman. I don't think he'd do that to him.
Well, Raven
Jake
Top
ain't
would
no
say
joke.
that's some Nephilim shit.
Yeah, exactly,
That is some Nephilim
exactly,
shit.
exactly. I mean, so we got called on the stage. We did our thing. I gave up my seat for 7Cs. Yeah,
Yep.
dude, 7Cs. Remember that.
Remember that.
But no, it was fun, man. I had a good time. And after that,
I should have gave up my seat.
he should have gave up.
Just
your
called
seat.
it quits. I should have.
Yeah.
But
Well, you know what? I was just like, man, dude, I knew he wanted to come in and he wanted to say his piece. He was been wanting to say something, I think, since Sam and Top and Raven were on there.
you could see him.
Because
He
he's
was
got all
sitting in
these
front of
thoughts
us,
running.
and he's like, you could see him while they're talking. He's like,
Yeah.
perks up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, what about that one guy? He was sitting like in front of me. He was a big dude, but man, he was getting a little wild.
Oh yeah,
He was throwing his hands up, and every
Yeah.
time Sam would say something he didn't agree with,
I think he flashed. Didn't he flash the crowd?
Oh, yeah, he
dude,
did
his
flash.
hat, and
Really?
I seen in the chat because we got a Telegram chat for all the people that's there, and it said, I think I seen Raven say, I hated to throw the guy out, but he was just,
they
man,
had to
too
kick him
far
out.
gone. And I remembered, I was like, I didn't see him after a certain point. But he
that's
but he was
right.
smashed, dude.
This is the guy wearing the coral colored shirt, right?
I think
wore
so.
a hat.
I don't know. He was just
Big
a
guy.
really big guy,
Yeah.
Very big
red-headed,
guy, yeah.
had the freckles.
They had to kick
That
him
was the
out.
guy. That was the guy I said. I said
He was
but,
belligerently drunk.
Dude, he was hammered, bro. I don't
was
think he
right-
understood
I was
what
right
I was
around
saying
the
to him.
corner.
There always
Cool
has to
guy,
be
I said
one.
hello, you know?
There has to be
But he
one in
was-
every
he
crowd.
was- He was. He likes to drink.
Yeah, clearly.
And you
Yeah.
can't just roast him because you might just come up on stage.
Yeah, well, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he was a big
boy.
one.
Boy, he was like easily 6'4", 5.
And he's in the front
About
row.
240, 250.
40. Yeah.
I think he probably paid.
He'd give
for
you a
those
nice
seats.
hug.
Good money.
Oh yeah, the VIP tickets were a little over $200.
Yeah, and he had to get kicked out.
But yeah.
I hope he
Yeah.
woke up today. And
Hey, but the
talked to him,
value
like,
is well
okay,
worth
buddy.
it. I'm not dogging the price. I mean,
Yeah.
you got a goodie bag when you got in there. You got front row seating.
Oh,
You get to
dude,
rub
yeah.
elbows with all of them, and we're having a private dinner tonight. So
Right on. Right on, man.
There was no riots. I was
No, it's
expecting
clean, dude.
a
It's
protest
clean.
in the front.
I know.
Yeah.
They must have been at the old spot.
no, if there is going to be action, it'll be tonight.
Yeah.
What's that?
I say if
Tonight?
there's any action,
Oh,
it'll be
yeah.
tonight
Owen
because
Benjamin.
Owen Benjamin. That's who they
Right.
got
That's the
them through
whole-
out of their last venue.
That's the whole
Right.
controversy.
Cancel culture's coming for him, bro.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, he's going to turn that volume up to 20, bro.
Pitchforks and everything.
We got bring the heat.
That's
baby.
funny. That is funny,
So
man.
you don't think they're gonna go into any? I think they're gonna get up there. Top and David are gonna get up there and
Yeah.
start some more talk.
They might do a little talk, maybe.
You think that we're not
If the
gonna get into
Nephilim
the?
Death Squad don't get up there, I'm gonna be disappointed. I'm gonna drive right back home right now.
Just start a chant.
With his bald tires.
NDS,
You're
NDS.
not gonna get very far.
Oh, man. Dude, who was the old guy that came up there towards the end? He did a
Hollywood.
stand-up, dude. Hollywood, bro.
That's
That
what I
guy is
said.
a
I don't care if you liked
character.
his comedy or not. I said it takes balls to be 80-something-year-old,
Oh, yeah.
dress up like a thrift store pimp,
Yeah.
and do stand-up comedy.
Yeah. No, dude, he was a nice touch at the end.
Right.
Nice touch at the end, dude.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't remember.
No, you don't know where you were.
I think I
You
was
disappeared.
helping the plumbers fix the.
You were
I
outside.
walked outside.
You digged a trench.
Well, I didn't dig a trench, but I did it. Actually, I dug it bare hand.
We
You
need
know.
plumbing higher
I
than
don't even need a shovel. No, I walked outside. They're like telling everybody you can't use the bathroom, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, they're fixing the plumbing outside. And I was like, and the manager of the place was like, wait, do you want to see? And I was like, yeah, show me. I'm a plumber. And so she brought me out back, and I'm like, I go out there, and there's two plumbers out there, by hand, dug like a 5-foot hole, like big 5x5, big hole, and they mission band three different parts of wide. They did a great job. I'm like, damn, good
Jesse
job.
backed up the
Nice.
system. That's why they had to, close the restrooms because he was just
Yeah.
falling out, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We got
Yeah,
we
Evan
got-
Hall called out that crooked lobster or cooked lobster.
oh,
That's
yeah,
what that
yeah,
guy
yeah.
Hollywood called Top.
Yeah. What up, Evan?
Cooked lobster.
He said, "Yeah, I was talking to cooked lobster."
That's hilarious.
Awesome. That is awesome, dude. Dude, the chicken and rice was banger.
Oh yeah, I know.
I don't know if you guys got yourself a little serving of
servings
that.
of that chicken and rice.
Yeah.
I didn't see the chicken. I just seen everybody walking around with that yellow rice, and I was
Yellow
like,
rice, yeah.
you know, that'll help kind of keep you leveled
Right,
out. But
leveled
I
out,
want
yes.
some meat, bro.
Yeah,
No,
that
dude, it was pulled chicken, dude. And I was like,
good,
man,
man.
I want one of those
It's
Chevron
quality.
hot dogs.
Yeah,
It's
I
been
know.
under that damn light all day,
It's a little
son.
better than gas station,
It's
but
done.
It's done.
yeah.
Yeah, I had my
But
second serving.
so day 2, what are we expecting, right? I mean, nothing
Like Doc's
short of
saying,
a
I
good
think
time.
we're gonna expect might get a little more crazy than the first night.
Yeah.
See,
You think
I
people
hope it does. To
You
be
think
honest.
people are primed?
Oh,
Now
yeah.
they're primed.
locked and loaded?
Now
dude.
they're ready.
Sam stand up, bro. I couldn't. Like he just had me laughing every sentence, every couple words.
Oh yeah.
Just
He
hilarious.
did.
That
He even
poor-
pointed to you, and he's like, "Dude, that wasn't even that funny. Like, chill out."
Oh, bro.
It's like I ain't hit the punchline yet.
Dude.
Your dark humor is messed up.
Did you fast this morning?
Right?
Yeah.
No, I ate biscuits.
But that woman,
biscuits.
man, he was relentless
Oh,
with her.
yeah.
Karen was just
yeah.
like straight faced the whole time, just like. I hate
Wait,
this guy
what?
so much.
There was a Karen up there?
Bro,
That was...
no, she was in the crowd.
It turned out in the chat, you know, they said that they talked to her and she was pretty cool. They said, but what it was she was there with her mom.
Oh.
But the mom was laughing her butt off, dude.
Oh,
her mom
I
was
see.
enjoying it, but
Oh,
she's
my
over there just
gosh.
like straight faced as crap,
Did
not
she
not
not?
laughing or nothing.
Did she not? She didn't know what she was getting into.
And
Well,
then
dude, you
Sam's
had
like,
Sam with your
she doesn't like that.
Yeah.
She's offended. She looks offended.
Yeah.
She got that RBF face.
As he's
he
like
did say
gripping
that,
the
too.
mic.
He
you know,
did
and he's
say
like,
that. He called her out.
Yeah, he's choking on that mic.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, he was getting raunchy, man. He was getting raunchy, but
Yeah.
it was funny though.
Bro.
It was
Every other
fun.
word, I'm just
It was
crying.
fun.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, my face started to hurt a little bit.
At all.
There's no such thing.
And I've only been to one comedy stand-up before that one.
What's
I've
the deal
never
with the
done
hot
that.
downs?
I know,
on a
bro.
cruise.
Yeah,
On a cruise.
That's my very first time ever seeing stand-up comedy with a freaking legend.
Yeah.
He's a killer. I didn't
Yeah.
realize he started like the scene.
He
in-
crushes, dude.
Another banger. He said he started the scene in Vegas, and I know he's from. I think he's from upstate New York too, which is interesting. But
Really?
he started like the comedy scene in Vegas about like going up there and just doing it every night, like they do at the Comedy Store, just working out or whatever. And I thought that was interesting. And then he moved to the Comedy Store, I think, is what it was. But regardless, killer, dude. He's a
Oh, dude.
So I think
Legend.
tonight's gonna be just a lot of laughs. I mean, I hope they do involve some, you know, some little bit of talking, some conspiracy stuff, and interweave it in there. But if you look at the schedule, it's just comedian after comedian. So
Oh,
it's like
okay.
maybe the first night was a little bit of comedy and some conspiracy.
Right.
Now the
Right,
night
right.
is all comedy.
Right.
which I'm down for. My
Everybody's getting
face is
roasted.
gonna hurt.
Oh, my goodness.
And Taylor is going to get roasted by every comedic that goes up on stage.
This guy's still here.
Just wear your helmet in.
I know. It's part of my motorcycle helmet. No Disney.
Where's your alien mask?
I know. I should have brought that. God.
I thought you were gonna.
Oh, that
I
would have been
should've.
fun.
I should've.
You
Yeah,
should just
because
wear
then
that
he
when
could
you're
walk
on
in
the
with you and
bike.
say, "This is my grandma."
Right? This is the grandma. He wasn't lying.
Yes. Oh, that was awesome.
Whippersnappers,
Dude,
couple
that's a
things.
sick T-shirt, though.
Yes,
I
definitely.
That is
I
such
like
a
it.
sick T-shirt idea. This is my grandma, and it's
Yeah.
just like a.
Or my
it's
grandma's
just
an
a
alien.
face peeler that like,
Got like the they live.
No.
like the mask is falling off. And it's just,
My grandma's an alien.
yeah.
No, you have to use AI and
Oh,
type in
she's
Mrs.
walking-
Doubtfire as an alien.
yes,
The curly hair.
yes. And she's got a plate of like a freshly baked cookies.
Right.
And she's like, like grandma
Yeah.
cookies, dude.
Totally
you know what I'm
eating
saying?
And green milk. Green
milk.
milk.
Skin is peeling off. You can see lizard under.
Yes, yes.
We're not gonna
One
put you in the
vertical
everyday
slit eye.
situation.
Yes, yes. I love it.
They live.
Right.
Like that lady. What's that movie? Legion?
I could just eat you
Right.
up.
Yeah, I could
They mean that literally.
They're
getting so fat.
Where she remember that scene? The old lady, the grandma.
Oh yeah, she
Oh
crawls
yes,
up the freaking like wall.
right. It was demon,
Yeah.
demon, dude.
You ever heard of the old hag? Come on now. Like, yeah, that's.
She started talking about when she aborted the baby or something
my
like
gosh,
that.
bro.
Creepy,
Oh
dude.
my gosh.
That's a good shirt.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
My grandma's a
No,
demon.
that's a killer idea.
My grandmother's
Killer
name.
idea.
Should we go to the chat? Who's talking in the chat?
Yeah, right.
Evan,
Evan,
am I late?
Jason, what up, Jason? Pam, what's up, Pam?
Wendy was here. I don't know if she's still here.
Right.
Wendy.
I see her in your chats a lot.
Yeah, Wendy is. She's a real one.
A devoted
Joyful's a real
friend.
one. We got some real ones in here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't beat your regulars.
Right.
I love my
know.
regulars,
Yeah.
man.
Max has been a supporter of you, right?
Yeah,
How
Max
long
has
now?
been there since like day one, man.
Wow.
Her and Jason both. That's
That's
my
cool.
team, man. That's my team.
That's cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah, so I wanted to say this earlier too. There's no little season people here, hey?
Yeah.
No, I talked to
There
one
was, like,
last
one,
night,
right?
actually.
There was.
Yeah, I talked to him last night. His card is right here, actually. Jeremy Lifsey.
Oh.
Yeah, we talked about the topic, right? I don't know exactly where he stands. I mean, you can't really justify that without having a 2-hour conversation with
There's
someone. I'm
Wendy.
sorry, but yeah, we got into it, the old world stuff and all that. It's an interesting topic, and there's a lot of debates going on right now with that topic. Seems to be like the flat Earth stuff is kind of like
Yeah, making its way out.
Time for the next trend.
town for the next thing. Yeah, so
I think that would be like that last night. I wish they would have done like a little season talk.
They probably know
They
better.
stayed away
Because
from
even Nephilim Death Squad talks about it. You know,
Oh, I
those
know.
little
Right.
seasonists are like little terrorists.
Yeah.
If you don't agree with them, they'll bomb your house.
Well, there's plenty of guys that are,
they will burn you
easy
down.
to talk to.
Yeah.
JC, a lot of them. But
Yeah.
they're following. They're fans. They're following. Oh man,
they're
some of
brutal,
these,
dude. Some of them are brutal.
Yeah. Some are.
they're like they're super matter of fact. Like this is how it is.
Yeah. Well, no, the numerology is king guy. That guy is a little nicer.
Well, even
than
some of those flat
some
earthers
of
too
them,
that want to
unfortunately.
play the.
Is he a
I'm
little
sorry you
seasoned
believe
or
a
like-
science
Oh,
book
no,
say your
I-
Bible and you're not
No,
a
I
real
just know
Christian.
he's been on the MDS's chat. And all
I'm
this
like,
other kind of
dude.
stuff,
Right.
That's effed
Yeah,
up.
he's a character. We got to let him. Let's let him go off, and then in the next live we do our next episode.
Just let him go.
Just let him go.
There she is. What
She
up?
said, "I
Wendy?
wouldn't hurt
I thought you said
anyone."
There he is.
There she
No,
is.
Wendy would show up your house with a Molotov
That's not
cocktail.
true. I wouldn't hurt anyone.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
I'm just teasing, Wendy. I'm just
That
teasing.
is hilarious. She's like, it's so true. I'd have 5 of them.
Like 5 right now, ready to go.
No, but that would have been. I would have, because we know Ed Mabry's, kind of going down that, trying to.
He just wrote a book on it.
You wrote a book
Right.
on it, right?
We're gonna have him on soon.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have him on the 24th.
I forget
but-
what show it was. There was a debate between it. It was Brandon Kroll, Heidi Love. That's your boy. But Heidi Love, Brandon Kroll, Mabry.
I'll have to go watch that.
What podcast was that on? That was on,
Yeah, but those are 3 non little seasonists debating little season.
right. And then there was
it's not really
Kerwin.
Oh, Kerwin's a little guy.
But
Okay.
he's new.
Little season.
And he even made it to a point in the middle or in the beginning of the debate. He's like, I really shouldn't be here. He didn't say that, but he's like, look.
He's
I'm
like,
new to
guys, do
this
you want to
stuff."
talk about the Mandela effect?
But these are because a lot of the little season stuff they go to scripture and it's a literal thing where they're saying Christ says he's coming back in this generation, this
Right.
time, this period.
Yes, some of you will not taste death, and you see
Right,
the
ones that
coming
pierced
glory
him,
of,
exactly,
of,
yeah,
of
all
Christ.
that.
But I love Ed. That's what when I talk to him, which it ain't out yet. So here you go, spoiler alert. But you only find it here, folks. But no, he said, because they say, well, if the little season ain't happening, then what he said was a lie. Christ doesn't lie.
Right.
They saw his coming because he had his millennial reign. And Ed's like, no. He said he didn't lie because what did he say to him? He told him that in Matthew. He said, then just right, page or 2 later, where are they? They're at Mount Hermon at the Transfiguration. Those people that he spoke that to saw him transfigure in his coming of glory. He said, so that's what he's talking about, not his millennial reign, but
Right.
to see his
Interesting.
transfiguration on Mount Hermon. And to me, I was like, well, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. What's his name? Going so mind blank.
Brain fart.
Jeez, what's his name? Michael Heiser. There
Yeah.
we go.
Yes.
Michael Heiser has made a few great documentary movies. I think one's called Demons. There's another one called
Angels and Demons, that book series he wrote, that was
yeah,
good.
Angels and Demons. That was
Another
good.
guy that was way ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Right.
Way ahead.
And he describes that Well, I lost my train of thought actually.
Dude,
so we're gonna move on.
Michael
That
Heiser
sucks.
and all these guys, it's kind of crazy how these guys at the forefront just like end up dying an early death. Because he wasn't very old.
Oh,
right?
I got my thought again. So
You're welcome.
he thank you.
You're welcome.
He shows that how much of a significance it was, that transformation in Mount Hermon, because there is a lot of areas there, and one main particular area where they worshipped the pan god, right? The satyr, the
Hairy Wild Man.
the hairy wild
Steven,
man, dude,
Stevie.
right? And that goes back to
That's
like
another
Nephilim
example.
worship, man. And it's just so funny how it's just a meta narrative, dude. And you really talk about it best in your book, but it's where it's always a chess move kind of game, and there's significance to a lot more deeper meaning biblically, right?
Yeah.
People just say, "Oh, well, Jesus went to a high mountaintop, got transformed, came down." Well,
No, there's
Jesus,
a lot
where's
more
the
there.
mountaintop? Well, let's talk.
Yeah.
I understand it didn't specifically say it, so let's talk about it.
Right.
Let's try and figure it out. Oh, well, what's the highest place in the closest area? Mount Hermon.
Well, yeah, I said it was a 6-day journey on foot, and when you put the location that they were at, that's the only mountain range within sight, and it's easily hikeable in 6 days.
Wow.
And
See?
what does Mount Hermon mean?
And honestly,
I remember someone talking about that too. What is it? Like, what's the it's Hermon, but it means
It's like the place that
something
they
specific.
fall, or where they fell, or they came
Something
down.
Like, something like that.
But honestly, that whole transfiguration, a lot of people miss it, and Mike did a great job with it. And actually, I love The Unseen Realm, but my favorite book of his is Reversing Hermon. And he talks about in there that transfiguration, it's another meta-narrative, and it's tied in with Deuteronomy 32. Because on that mountain, El ruled with his 70 sons.
Right.
And so he returns to the place of the rebellion. And then it says after this event, he sends out his 70 disciples to preach the gospel unto all nations. So basically, it's like he's throwing down this spiritual battle flag. Like, okay, at Deuteronomy 32, you are my sons, and I gave to you your inheritance to nations. But I called out Abraham and said, through your name, all nations shall be blessed. So you got this fake pantheon, El, and your 70 sons, your divine council that rule over the nations like the Tower of Babel. But now I'm bringing the true righteous heir, and he's going to destroy your crown and take back all the kingdoms unto himself. So it's a reversing of the Tower of Babel.
Basically, like when God went, near Mount Hermon, it's basically telling the enemy, "I'm stomping on what you're doing. Like, I don't care about what you're doing. Like, Jesus Christ is King.
So
Jesus is King."
there we go. The way, the truth, of life.
Let them know.
So
They need to hear it.
in Hebrew, Hermon means taboo, consecrated, sacred enclosure. Al Hermon, Arabic, sacred enclosure.
And you
Interesting.
know what's funny with these high places? It's funny how Paul talks about it, that there's wickedness in high places, right? Okay, that it could have a separate meaning than where I'm going with this, but mountaintops are known for mysticism
Right.
and some
Very
sort of
weird stuff.
gateway
Yeah.
to the gods and stuff. You see this in areas in especially New Mexico and Arizona, especially the old Indian tribes that were there. They named
Machu
the mountaintops
Picchu.
to be like gateway to the gods, very similar to like Babel. So there's this thing with building something in a
places.
model after a mountain.
Right.
So when we look
Artificial mountain.
let's look at ziggurats. Let's look at pyramids. Let's look at all of these fallen angel temples. Because then when you look at the bigger story, well, why did God, tell Moses, hey, this is how I want my tabernacle built. This is how I want this built. You see how the world's worshiping all these Elohim, all these council of gods.
And just like the Baphomet perverts
Oh, right.
on earth as it is in heaven. That is a biblical theme, folks. And just as Satan always does, he steals things and perverts them and distorts them.
As above, so below.
Yes. And that's what it was, because he told Moses, he said, these things that I'm telling you, write these details down because they're important. I don't want you to screw this up. And this temple that you're building, this tabernacle, is going to be a mirrored image of the heavenly temple. The garments that I'm describing for these priests to wear, this is what the high priest in heaven wears. All these things on earth as it is in heaven. That's why Jesus ended his prayer, on earth as it is in heaven, because that's the whole theme. And even when you look at the creation of the tabernacle, it mirrored the creation of Genesis. Moses come out and give 6 speeches. So it was done in 6 sets or phrases representing 6 days of creation. And then on the 7th day, they done the sacrifice, and it said the Spirit of God came down and dwelled within. So it's earth being created is symbolically a temple in itself. So it's this whole mirror imaging thing going on there.
Very interesting.
Dude, it's like that with everything in creation. You know, we have an economic system that is ran through buying and selling specifically.
Right.
And it's like I compare things that go on in our society and how humans have constructed infrastructure and what it's like. Well, it's very similar to like they're building a body. And they're modeling things, which they may be ignorant to it. It's just our nature of things. Things are the same way at a micro level on how they are at a cosmic level. Okay. Like, for example, right, buying and selling, right? So our heart pumps with sodium and potassium.
You
right?
love this analogy.
In, out, right? But that's how things are circulated and put into circulation. Well, what do you have? You have distributor trucks that deliver food and goods for the buying and selling and for the purpose to keep things going. And what's funny about that is those distributor trucks are like red blood cells, dude, in the body. They deliver oxygen, right? Because that's what sustains life.
Yeah.
So, but that's my thing. That's the beautiful thing about this life and how you know that there is a creator. There is a God.
It's not just a happenstance,
Yeah.
man. There's too much stuff happening on what he said, on micro level. Yeah, it's just like there's too much, like wheels in this big system turning, man. Like I just, it takes more faith to be an atheist than it does a Christian.
You know what's funny is some people will go, they'll walk a hike and they'll go across something and they'll find something that's a part of, better this. Someone's walking and they walk by this painting or sculpture. They look at it and they go, "Oh, who did this?"
Yeah. There must be a painter, but I look outside my window in this beautiful Florida sky. There's no God. I don't know how you can stare out that window and see all those beautiful creations. You just be like, yeah, we don't matter. Nothing else besides us.
Amen.
Infinite void. Like what, bro?
Yeah.
Even when I was a kid.
Yeah, you know better, bro. You know inside you that there is a God out there, that there is a creator, that you just didn't arrive from some pond scum or freaking monkey, dude. Like, come on, that's insulting our intelligence right there, bro. Like, don't come at me with that,
bro.
You might be part of that, but not me.
the whole like evolution stuff, it like really like hits a wall with me. Like simply thinking about alligators. We're in Florida, right? Alligator everywhere here, everywhere. And that sucker has not evolved at all in how many years? Like, it just doesn't make sense. If animals continue to evolve like Pokemon, why do we not have like this hybrid whatever? You know what I mean? Like, alligators are still the same sharks.
And where's the missing links?
Where
the in-between phases.
right,
if this takes millions of years, then we should have a transition process.
Yeah.
Where's the middle?
Where's the middle guys?
Again, going back to John Adolphi, he has this video where he explains petrification and how fast it can happen under certain circumstances.
Mineral waters.
Mineral
and stuff.
water, sit in mineral water. It's so crazy. Like it takes 2 years of just dripping, mineral water. Not even 2 years.
No, it's just like a month or two.
Yeah,
They can put teddy bears and stuff underneath those waterfalls, and just that mineral drip totally
what's in the
calcifies
ground?
it.
Minerals, man. There's minerals in the ground. Where does runoff go? It goes into the ground.
Right.
Goes into the aquifers and all this kind of stuff.
Speaking of my plumbing occupation, when I look at someone that their faucet outside in Las Vegas, we have very, very hard water, high mineral content, the highest there is, EPA standard, highest, 500 total dissolved solids minimum in the water. If you let a faucet drip for 2 months, it's gonna all be calcified. You're gonna see a little bunch of calcium and a little bit of blue-green from the magnesium, and it just doesn't take that long. It's crazy. It makes a lot of sense. So I'm kind of coming around on the young Earth thing, slowly but surely. Kind of am. But it's hard for me to believe that the Earth is only 6,000 years old.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, the gap theory, dude.
Now let me hit you with the gap theory.
Yeah. No, he has questions.
That's another
about
day.
it.
That's another day.
That totally is.
We're already working on an hour and a half.
Hey, we're an hour and 24 minutes in, folks. Everyone in the chat, appreciate
Thank
you for being here. Yep, thank you for tuning in, showing your support. This is Bohemian Grove, day 2. I'm ready for it. I'm excited. Jesse's cut off.
Yeah.
Jesse's cut off.
I think when I
He's
get
gonna
there
cut my
tonight, they're
hand
going to be
off.
like, buddy, you can't go to the bar. we saw what you did
They're
yesterday.
gonna stop him at the door.
He orders a
Then
Jack and
legally
Coke. You give him a Coke and Coke. Okay.
on the rocks.
Yeah, the lady just like turns around, hides it. Okay.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
they
it's
don't realize I'm pre-gaming in the parking lot.
right.
Yeah.
This
but-
guy. This guy. No.
But folks, if you want to support the show, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the show, share it with your friends, drop a comment down below about the things we got into or things we didn't mention or say. We like that. We appreciate everyone's opinion here. And Doc, tell them where your show's at and
Shameless
where they
plug.
can find all your links and all that kind of stuff.
Just like any great infomercial, wait, there's more. Find me at PrometheusLensPodcast.com and anywhere you can consume fine content. Torch is high.
Boom, boom. Yep. And you can also check out his book. We got his book right here. It's Epic of Esau. And boom.
Did you
there it
steal
is.
that from my room?
Yes.
Yes,
I did.
we hijacked it.
Right.
Yep.
It's ours now.
And
It's the only copy in the house.
It's mine.
But thank you, everybody. Appreciate you again. Love you.
Yeah.
We're going to see you next time. All right.
See you.